All right, man, peace. So now this court case here is going to illustrate how thin the line is between being a simp and being a sponsor. This is why I like to use these court cases as a backdrop for some of the topics that I like to speak about on this channel. This brother Tyrone Brooks is going to convey to you brothers how very, very, very important it is to know who and what you're dealing with so that you know how to operate within that convention. Anyway, they're going to talk about it and I'm going to chime in.
Plaintiff Tyrone Brooks says when he met the defendant, he was in a relationship, but they became close and hung out often. Tyrone says when the defendant asked for money for breast implants, he refused. But he's suing because he did loan her money for a book tour, and she has yet to repay him.
You didn't loan her any money, brother. Let's be for real. You gave her money as an investment. You were trying to add her to your harem, and things went left. Now you're frustrated because you have not gotten any return on your investment, meaning you either wanted money back or you wanted pussy back, and you got neither.
Defendant Renarda Huggins says Tyrone wined and dined her because he was romantically interested in her. Renarda admits that she accepted money from Tyrone.
Of course you accepted money from him. What else were you going to do? You wanted to string the man along. You understood the convention that he was trying to establish with you. You needed seed money to get your little venture off the ground. And before he had the chance to get a return on his investment, that being some of that snaggly cooch, you used any excuse that you could figure out or that you could conjure to cut him off.
But says they haven't spoken since he got naked and tried to have sex with her when her mother was sleeping in the next room.
Hey, let me say this, and I'm going to expound on this further on as this case proceeds. Brothers, if you're dealing with a broad and she's just going to be a concubine, and you're going to invest in that concubine and try to add her to your harem, if she's playing games with the coochie, cut her off expeditiously. Don't string it along and then get stuck in the friend zone and then you talking about, I spent all this money on you. Spending money on a concubine is like investing in junk stock. You just got to take your losses, man.
All rise. This court is now in session. The Honorable Judge Greg Mathis presiding. You may now be seated.
Start with you. Some background or anything you want me to know?
January 2016, I met Renarda Huggins through my niece.
That's already a red flag. You met the broad through your niece. The brother looks about 52, 53 years old. This chick here could be anywhere from 27 to 35 years old, depending on how much mileage she has on her and how well she treats herself in regards to cigarettes or drugs or alcohol. Either way, number one, as I state numerous times on this channel, the woman is a child until she gets to be about 45. Then she starts to mature. And even beyond that, when there's such a large age gap, you have to deal with the woman according to the age disparity. If you're a man who's 50-something years old, you have greater life experience. So you should have greater wisdom so that you can pretty much speculate on how she's going to conduct herself. Nothing should come as a surprise to you as a man once you get that age. I mean, I'm nowhere near that age, and there's not much that a female that can do that would surprise me. So he clearly is very bitter about the fact that whatever his plans were did not come to fruition as he wanted.
After that, we kind of hit it off. She came to my niece's house. She asked me, was I in a relationship? I told her, yeah. I had a female that was staying with me at the time. Go to her house, smoke a little weed, eat, have fun.
What state?
Massachusetts.
All right. And did you stay together? And if so, how long?
No, we was friends. I mean...
Y'all were not friends, brother. Knock it off. You said you met her through your niece. You figure you throw some money at her and string her along, add another piece to your harem. You know, a little young girl.
During this time, me and her just to go hang out. Comes on May 2016. He's at our house, and she asked me, would I give her $5,000 to get a boob job? I ignored it.
Oh. Well, I guess you're going to get to the loan, so let me allow her. Let me allow her to give some background, ma'am.
First of all, I've never asked Tyrone for $5,000 for a boob job. We talked very jokingly about boob jobs and cars, and he flashed his money around a lot. So we talked about him doing quite a bit for me after he had already been whining and dining and doing nice things for me.
In other words, you threw it out there as a joke to see if he would, if he would take the bait. I'm not an advocate for cosmetic surgery, other than in cases of emergency. God forbid, you have people who may have been disfigured in accidents. You have females who may have had someone throw acid in their face or gotten into a car crash or what have you. And of course, if there is a cosmetic procedure that could help you in your recovery, in your mental recovery, as well as your physical recovery, sure. But cosmetic surgery, just for the sake of cosmetic surgery, is not necessary. I'm not an advocate for that. But if I was, she would need a boob job because she is a card-carrying member of the Itty Bitty Titty Committee.
So that was just conversational. Never was that to be taken seriously.
Bullshit. It was taken seriously. No, a technique that a lot of hustlers like to use is to try to throw little things out there, act like it was a joke to see how you respond. And we've all been through that. Some of you guys, you might know a chick might try to act like she's joking with you when really she wants to see how you're going to respond, particularly if she likes you.
Had I still been seeing Tyrone in the courtship that he was trying to have with me, I doubt that we would be here today.
He wasn't trying to court you. He was trying to reel you in.
Because I already knew what he was going on with Tyrone in reference to why he was being so nice to me. And
let me say this. What is it with these modern day broads and this courtship shit? Isn't that so funny? Most of the modern day liberal females in America talk about how it is a new day, how they're operating according to new cultural mores, and they're equal to men. And yet so many of them talk about this courtship shit. Do you know where courtship comes from? Brothers, courtship comes when a man was trying to take another man's daughter who was a virgin, and there was a period of time where he had to, quote unquote, court the woman. The process of courtship implied that not only were you trying to cultivate favor with the young lady, but that you were trying to cultivate favor with her father and her family by showing that you were raised properly, that you could provide for her. Because that's what marriage was. It was the transition of ownership of that woman, of that young lady, from the father to the husband. That's where the term courtship comes from. Now when a broad's talking about courting, she's talking about what we're saying right here, taking a nigga to court. And bro is trying to act like she's so upstanding. Look at her hands. That's why I said you got to notice everything on somebody. She's all tatted up all over her hands and her wrists. This is a hood rat that's trying to speak proper in court. Give me a break.
I'm not a fool. I know that he definitely was doing the things he was doing because he was interested in me.
So why else would he be doing it? Because he wanted to play Scrabble with you? Yes, newsflash. Most of the time when a man is nice to you, when I say nice, I mean when he's buying things for you, when he's offering to take you out, is because he's interested in you sexually. That is not that's not any type of major revelation or eureka moment.
In a personal and sexual way. It just wasn't like we were just platonic friends. In him? In the beginning, I wasn't so much as a companionship, but as he started to be nice to me, and I really felt like,
yes, nice to you equals he showed that he had cash. And look, there's nothing wrong with that. The woman by nature is drawn to a comfortable lifestyle. That's not to say that every woman is going to be won over by money. There are some women who really don't care about money. They just care about the caliber of the man that they're dealing with. But all women want to know that you're a man who can at least provide for yourself monetarily so that she doesn't have to be a crutch for you and quote unquote be your mother. And that's natural. But yes, she started to take him more seriously once she saw that he actually had the cash that he was talking about.
And we're not going to conclude that nice means money. Okay.
Well, I am, Judge. I am. It's very clear that she was looking for a sponsor.
Okay, so let me allow him to tell me what he's suing you about. Sir?
Yeah, so she comes to me in July and say that she wanted to go and promote her book in Atlanta, and she needed to borrow money. At that time, she wanted $3,000. I told her I would let her borrow $2,000. And we
so
signed.
First she came $5,000.
That was after that. She made
and that was when?
This was in May with the boob job. But
The first request, May of 16. Now, this is when?
The book is referring into July.
July of 16?
Yes, sir.
A couple of months later, she came back.
Yeah.
Well, brother, why was that not a red flag for you? Like in May of 2016, she asked you for $5,000 for a boob job. In July of 2016, she's asking you for $2,000 for a book. Shouldn't that resonate with you, what she's about? But I know what it was, bro. You knew the broad for 5 months and you put in all this time and money and, you know, trying to throw your money around and you still hadn't got no ass yet. So your thing is, once you tap that, either she's going to fall in line or you're going to cut her off. That's old school player 101. This cat looked like some dude who used to move weight in Boston back in the 80s and he got out of the business because it was getting too rough. You know, he cleaned himself up.
And wanted how much?
She wanted $3,000.
3,000.
Yeah.
Okay.
However, she was talking sense when it came to the book, because she wanted to go promote her book, and she wanted to sell some other stuff. Okay. And I thought that made better sense than the boob job. So we went and we got documents filled up, or promissory, that she would pay me back 6 to 8 months.
Okay. Let me see the book.
Well, that's a good idea, and it's fortunate for him that he was business savvy enough to have a contract drawn up. But if I was him, I would have said, no problem. I'll give you $2,000 as long as I also get a percentage of the proceeds from the book sales. That's what he should have done, because then he would not have had to worry about getting quote-unquote cut off and not getting reimbursed for his time. Then he could have felt like he had an actual stake in the success of her book.
Here you go. I actually have it.
All right, he has one too. She wants him to have something to remember her by.
Right, you don't need his.
I
This one
need
is
his.
actually
You got-
for you,
really?
autographed for you.
All right,
Yeah.
thank you. All right. Lies he told. That's the name of the book.
That's published by Chicken Head Incorporated.
That's the name of the book. All right, thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Ain't nobody reading that bullshit. I didn't even know that these bras were still trying to write them little trashy dime store novels, these little hood rat novels. Give me a break.
Welcome.
Go ahead, sir. You have a document of some sort you want to give me?
I have,
That she was
she
to
has
repay you and
promised
she
it.
has not paid you anything?
She hasn't paid me anything.
All right,
I
ma'am.
have text her.
Okay.
You wanted pussy payments. That's why you mad.
Okay. Hold on.
Back to me?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. When Tyrone first met me, originally he came on to me by way of telling me how inspired he was by me and how strong I was as a single black mother, and he wanted.
Yes, he was running all the player lines. A lot of these guys know that or feel that single mothers are easy pickings, and for the most part, many of them, after going through the trials and the travails of the quote-unquote dating scene, they do become easy pickings for men who are relatively functional. Tyrone tried to run that old, you're a strong black woman, you're a strong single mother shit on her, and it took a little longer, or it took a lot longer than he thought it was going to take to get the draws. He still haven't gotten them yet.
And he wanted to support me, support my book, and he really believed in everything that I was trying to do as far as my book was concerned. He was very aware of the publishing companies that had signed me prior and had gotten money off of my book and never paid me a dime. So that was...
Well, that means that you were not on your P's and Q's business-wise. And it also means that they felt like they could not move your book because it probably was not up to par.
That was the reason why I was inclined to ask him to help me out with going to Atlanta. I've already paid my flight, hotel, rent-a-car, did everything. I wanted to take more books and more t-shirts, so that's why I went to him for the loan. But again, initially I was comfortable with doing that because this was a man that had seemed very supportive and always said to me that he wanted to be a part of what I was doing.
Oh, knock it off. You opened up your statement by saying that he was nice to you and you knew he was being nice to you because you understood that he was pursuing you sexually. Now you're trying to act like you took the loan because you felt like he just had your back, just from a conventional perspective, or he was in your corner to see you succeed business-wise. You know damn well the man gave you the money on the condition that you're going to give him some pussy. Let's be for real. And brother, this is why I say this. From the top of the video. If you're dealing with a broad that you only plan on making a concubine because that's all she is concubine material, Don't stick out no situation like this dude for 4 and 5 months and get all mad because you done threw all this money at the broad, and now you upset because you haven't gotten a return on your investment. A lot of these chicks have been through the, they've been through it, man. Okay? Got a lot of tread on their tires. Got more mileage than a damn used rented car. If she's not showing any signs of reciprocating your advances by the second or third date, cut your losses, man.
Moving forward to July, Tyrone did say to me, I did ask him for 3. He said he wouldn't give me the 3, he would give me the 2. And the $2,000 was the money that he had only ever loaned me. I never borrowed.
It was a loan. It wasn't a gift.
Originally. So stay there with
No, it was always a loan. You're just trying to change your story now because you know damn well you can't pay him back.
there with that.
Go ahead.
So, when, as I said, with going out, he had met my mom, he had been around my family. He's right about coming over. The part, I'm not going to contest to that, but coming over, spending time, eating food, hanging out with my mom, drinking, hanging out with all of my family, that is what he started to do. So,
in other words, this brother allowed himself to fall into the friend zone. And he's too old to have allowed himself to fall into that dynamic.
So he did become like someone that everyone became
right,
sort
a
of
nice
fond of.
person.
Yeah.
No, he was a mascot, and you looked at him as an ATM.
Yeah, and that's why I started to take him a little seriously.
More of Judge Mathis in a moment.
Did you pay him? If not, why?
I did not, because first of all, when I went to Atlanta, and I don't know if he wants to show you what he still has, but according to me, those notarized letters were ripped out. We did them, so what I thought was in my house in August, but apparently he just had the empty envelope and ripped that up in my face. So my letter, I ripped up honestly and seriously in front of him.
For what purpose?
Because it was I had come back from Atlanta. We were having a housewarming. I was having a housewarming that weekend. Tyrone had come over, as he always would. My family was there helping me get ready for the housewarming. And he was like, you know what, because now he's drunk. And when he got drunk, he got nicer, became a little more ruder. You know what I mean? So,
look, I did a series on the television show Insecure, and that character, quote-unquote Issa's ex-boyfriend Lawrence. There was a scene in that show where he was dealing with this broad. She was pretty much the rebound broad, and she was trying to make him her man, but she understood intrinsically that he was a little bit above her. She invited him to a barbecue. He went there, saw how quote-unquote ghetto her family was, and he realized right away that they were not going to mesh. He tried to play the nice guy role, and it ended up leading to a big cataclysmic argument between him and her, or really just her venting on him. Point being is this, brothers, it pretty much is cut and dry when you know if someone that you're dealing with is going to fulfill what you think their end of the bargain should be. If you're with a female to satisfy you sexually, if she's not willing to do that, it's okay. Let her go. If you're with someone that you see is trying to use you for money, then it's up to you to decide if you want to be used for your money in return for what you want from them. In this life, everything is a commercial transaction. As long as people are doing what they want to do willfully, then it is what it is. You have wife material females in this society, and you have concubine material females. You cannot confuse the two. This brother's in court because he allowed himself to get strung into a situation that he should not have allowed. 5 months and you didn't get any ass and no money back for your investment. That's an abomination.
so now he's drunk. He's in my bedroom. My mom has already, said that maybe he should stay the night because he's, we're all drunk. I had already said, yes, maybe that can happen. So now he's in my room. He's talking to me. He's like, you know what? That $2,000, that ain't really nothing to me. You know what I'm saying? I believe in you. I know you can X, Y, and Z, and started kicking all that. He said,
yeah, so in other words, he found his way into your room. Somehow, this brother found his way into your room drunk. And you expect someone who's reasonable to believe that an upstanding woman would allow a drunk man to sleep in her room and have no thoughts about being sexually intimate with that man. One would think that if you had common sense or any type of rationale or reason, and you did not view him sexually, that you would have made him sleep on the couch, or you would have called a cab for him and sent him home.
He said, we can just rip this up. I still got the sealed envelope. Pulls out the sealed envelope. We ripped them up. Don't tell me twice. You ain't got to ask me twice. Yeah, I ripped up. You say rip it up, we're going to rip it up. So I ripped it up. Now,
That never happened.
To fast forward back to that night, which is why I decided to not see Tyrone ever again in life, which is why he never got paid, was because the night of my housewarming, when he did stay the night, there was no one to, everyone was sleeping over, so there was no room for him to sleep anywhere else other than my bedroom, right? That
makes absolutely no sense. Number one, why would you ask? Because if you remember at the start of her little diatribe, she tried to meander or wonder if he was able to, if he would be able to produce the original document or the original contract. Why? Because she knows that the story that she's going to tell thereafter is totally made up. At no point, most likely, did she ever engage in any situation where she had to rip up the contract with him. Because if that had happened, she would not be wondering if he would be able to produce his part of the document. It just would have been gone. So she's just making a bunch of shit up. Beyond that, you don't allow a drunk man that you're not sexually interested in to sleep in your room.
Right? I was comfortable with him. I had been seeing him for months. My family was there, so I didn't think he would try anything. All night long.
Kept
all
trying.
Night.
What was trying all night long, or he?
If I would have fell asleep for real, I probably would have gotten assaulted. Because
that's a serious allegation. That's why, brothers, once again, I always say this: make sure that the female that you're dealing with is on the same wavelength as you within the first 2 dates or 3 dates. After that, you're wasting your time. This man made a complete ass of himself and now has a female in court claiming that had she fallen asleep, she would have been raped. You see how easy it is for people to cry rape when they see that they're not going to get from you what they want? Very, very, very important. That's why I always state relationships are like a boxing match. You must protect yourself at all times. It doesn't mean that you have to be paranoid. You just have to be cognizant of the possibilities. You have to make sure that you can become familiar with this person's ways and mannerisms and conduct as soon as possible. And be patient. Very important, man.
Because that's exactly what it was from the time we lay down to the time my mother had to come in there at about 4:30, 5 o'clock. Like, what's going on in here? Why y'all arguing?
What month was this?
My mother comes in, sees him butt naked as he had been
What
in my
month was
room.
this? What
I
month
got
was
my
this?
clothes on. I'm at
What
the
month
edge
was
of the
this?
bed, completely annoyed. And my mother's like, what's going on? So now all three of us are going at it. Me and my mother's arguing with him. We end up throwing him out about 6:30, 7 o'clock
Naked?
that morning.
No.
No, not naked. I wanted him.
Not true. Not true.
So we throw him out, and ever since then, I blocked him when that happened. Went ahead and unblocked him. He starts calling me, I'm sorry, can we talk? So went out a couple of more times, took me to dinner on Newberry Street. Still.
Wow, this is incredible. So this woman claims that she almost would have got raped had she fell asleep. And her mother came in irate. They kicked him out. Wouldn't you think that she would have her mother there to act as a witness if that were true? Then she blocks a man who she claimed was on the verge of raping her, but then she unblocks him. Why did she unblock him? Because her ass was broke. And she needed someone to be her sponsor. She hadn't gotten the book going yet. Had she got the book going, believe me, she would have threw him his little bit of money and he would have never heard from her again. She would have gave him the deuces and probably told him to go fuck himself. She's going through this whole thing right now because she still needs him. Once again, brothers, a lot of these females are operating at a very, very low level and they cannot get anyone to take them seriously. And once they get someone like a Tyrone to take them seriously, they'll try to run them through the ringer to see if they can break them down into being what they really want from them. She just wants this guy to be a trick. That's all. Trick daddy for her, and then she can run around and act a fool with somebody else. And he fell for it. So always remember, in life, you don't get what you think you deserve. You get what you actually deserve. So everything is a lesson.
Still was very cocky. He talks like monkey doodle with his money. You have no idea. Like the way he throws his money around and thinks he's just all of that. And
well, somebody talking like monkey doodle would only work for, if you're a shitty person. All right? Doodle and shitty, they go together.
So did you jump naked on her?
Your Honor, that is so not true. I can have more respect than that. I stayed at her house. The next morning, she wanted me to take her to the grocery store, okay? I wasn't going to take her to no grocery store because I knew once I would have taken her to that grocery store, she would have got in there and wanted me to pay for a grocery. It wasn't going to happen.
So you finally woke up, bro?
You wanted a relationship with me. You said many times you want a relationship with me. I did not want a relationship with you. I did not want to really.
So why'd you jump naked in that bed?
I wasn't naked. Your Honor, I was never naked. I was never naked.
I believe you, Tyrone. I believe that she wasn't naked in no damn bed. I mean, that story just sounds ludicrous. If he was naked in the bed, then her mother should have been there to act as a co-witness to say, yes, Your Honor, he was there naked. That's a lie that she concocted so that she could try to get out of the debt because her ass is so low level and ghetto, she feels like if she can get the judge to feel sorry for her, that he'll cancel the debt.
I was never naked. That is a lie. She's lying.
Your Honor,
Why they have to put you out?
She didn't put me out. I left the next morning. She got mad because I wouldn't take her to the grocery store. I got in my car and left. You think I'm a sugar daddy and I did not want to be with you. You think I'm a friend with benefits. I did not want to be with you. I told you I don't chase them, I replace them, and that's what I did with you.
Let her know, Tyrone. Take it back to the 80s. Shit, I don't chase a bitch, I replace a bitch. Go ahead, Tyrone.
That's what I did with you. That's what I did with you.
Macaroni Tony.
That's what I did with you. I don't have to take off nothing. I got a lot of females. Come on, play.
Let her know. Let her know. Tell her, Tyrone. I got a bigger stable in Churchill Downs. Let her know, Tyrone.
Play, stop talking
Are
about
we
that.
done? You done listening to him?
Thank you.
You done? Okay. Because do it really look like I need to chase him?
What?
Yes, it do, because you broke as hell. You broke as hell. You're trying to fool somebody into thinking that you are so-called upper class because you got that Boston accent. No. You're not fooling me. Not with that little $2 blouse on and that paper towel you got wrapped around your neck that you dyed the same color as that blouse.
What month was this?
But we're done with
That's
you, though.
enough,
We're
sir.
on me now. Here
We're
we
done
go.
with that.
So that night, Your
Go
Honor,
ahead.
that's exactly what he had done. He didn't take me to the grocery store. What he did do was he took me to the liquor store to get the liquor for the beverages that were needed the next morning.
Well, wait a minute. You just said that you and your mama kicked him out because he almost raped you. But now you're saying that he took you to the liquor store right when you kicked him out for almost raping you after that huge argument that you claimed you had with him? Whew. I tell you, boy, lies on lies on lies.
And when I went in there and was prepared to pay for my own housewarming items, he seen me going down my little frugal list because I don't drink. So I wasn't going to buy a bunch of liquor for people. It was bring what you drink. I'm going to have something there for you. But it wasn't all like that. So I'm going here getting my little wines and make my cousin's going to make the sangria. Oh, what you doing over there? Getting what I need? Oh, come on. Get what you getting it. Come on. Oh, get what I'm getting it. Come on. You ain't got to tell me that twice either. So I got what I was getting.
I wasn't even at your house, Mom.
I got what I was getting and I went on.
I wasn't even
so
at your
that
house,
night,
Mom.
that them staying, along with them purchasing those alcohol beverages, and as he said, as nice as he had been being to me up until that date, that was his down payment, and I knew what time it was. But eventually, evidently, he didn't know what time it was.
You just wanted more money.
Sir,
No,
give me
no,
time.
no.
I'm going to dismiss your claim.
Yeah, brother, just be quiet. Let her talk herself into a hole because that's what she's trying to do. She's trying to get you to spaz out by lying on the stand to make the quote-unquote judge feel sorry for her so that she can cancel her debt. That's the role that she was playing from the outset. And he's almost falling into her plot. You know, she wants to lie to incite him.
Thank you. I advise you listen. You know they told you now.
How the hell can him paying for her alcohol have been a down payment on sex when she said that they went to the liquor store after he was naked? And she claimed that she kicked him out. This is why the bitch is writing fictional novels, because her whole life she's living a lie. Hey, brothers, let me say this. And you have to be very, very wary of this. Many of these females tell themselves lies every day. And I'm sure that many of you have dealt with this situation where a female will claim that you said something or that you guys had some type of a verbal dispute over something that never happened, or the way that she's describing it never happened. And they will regurgitate this nonsensical version of events as if it really happened. Why? Because many of these females, not all of them, but many of them, particularly the liberal ones, feel the need to create this atmosphere between themselves and a man where the man is trying to victimize her or do her wrong. So in the process of creating this narrative, she has to cast herself as the victim so that she can be the hero. Be very, very careful about your interactions with many of these females. As you can see, her story makes no sense. She's telling lies on top of lies.
I advise you to tell me, what is your legal defense? Let's get to that. What is your legal defense to not paying the loan?
My legal defense is I am not going to pay Tyrone back the money, because had I still been seeing Tyrone, the money wouldn't be an issue, and he shouldn't have ripped the letter up in front of me saying that the money wasn't.
It's not a legal defense. $2,000 is the judgment. Have a good day.
You see how simple that was? That could have lasted, that whole case could have lasted 2 minutes. Once he got down to the nitty gritty, the point of the case, what is her legal defense? She had none. Her point was, I'm not giving him any ass. And that is not her fault. That is his fault, because he allowed that situation to go along for months when it's clear that he did want some ass from her. She tried to talk about it as if he was looking for a relationship. No, he was looking for ass, and he allowed himself to fall into the friend zone.
I'm done with it. I hold no animosity. I'm gone. I'm done.
What? I have nothing to say except for him not to call me anymore.
That would never happen.
Tyrone, you just called me last night.
That would never happen.
You just called me last night.
I would never call you. I don't need you.
They have the proof.
You know how
They
many
just
females
called me
I
last
got?
night.
You nobody.
They just called me
You're
last
nobody.
night.
You're nobody.
I'm everybody
You're not
to
on
you.
my
That's
level.
why we're here.
You're not on my level.
Bye-bye now.
I believe it that he called her last night, and I'm sure he gonna call her tonight also. But anyway, peace.